Tomorrow marks the 40th anniversary of one of the most notorious incidents in Pennsylvania history, the partial meltdown at the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant near Harrisburg.
Jon Meyer talked with Mike Stevens about Mike's reporting on the partial meltdown. It's a stop along the Pennsylvania road. Mike vividly remembers.
Skycam 16 shows us the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant now. 40 years later, steam pours from part of the facility still producing power. But two other cooling towers stand as a quiet reminder of some frightening days near Harrisburg 4 decades ago.
Good evening. The news tonight is not encouraging. To sum it up in a word, it is still confusing from Harrisburg.
What happened on March 28, 1979 spread fear across the state and the nation. A series of human and mechanical errors caused a partial meltdown at TMI, a release of radioactive gases.
Mike Stevens is standing by with this live report. Mike?
Gary, all through this day, there has been a great deal of concern about the situation at 3 Mile Island.
You know Mike Stevens for his many feature stories along the Pennsylvania road, but all these years later, covering this serious story certainly stands out to him.
This is Mike Stevens across the river from 3 Mile Island.
It's hard to forget being sent right to the scene of a nuclear incident.
And when we went down there, you're treating radiation as an invisible enemy. You don't know where it is, you don't know what it's going to do to you if it finds you, but you still have to do your job and you still got to go through it.
Remain indoors. Close all windows and doors.
Mike's assignment was to talk to those living so close to the release of radiation.
Where are you going to?
Going to my mother's. I have nowhere else to go at this point. I'm just going to go, get out, I'm not coming back.
They started to evacuate pregnant women and children, and we were there for that. And you could see the look of fear in people that we interviewed, people we dealt with.
I'm concerned. My wife and little girl left town, and hopefully they're going to be out of the area and safe for the next several days.
It was imagination, of course, but everybody said, boy, do you feel it on your skin? Do you just feel it? And of course there was nothing there. It was the heat from the sun. You know, it was a nice warm spring day.
It was later determined there was only a small amount of radiation released and little harm to those nearby. But 3 Mile Island would dominate headlines for years. Mike even returned to the facility long after it was deemed safe and the damaged core sealed off.
You do it and you don't realize what you're doing or what you're working on or how big the story is until you can get back from it in 6 months or a year later. You say, oh my goodness, that was really something.
Something that dramatically altered safety in the nuclear industry. Days in March 1979 that certainly left a mark on Pennsylvania history. Jon Meyer, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road.
As a postscript, 3 Mile Island is set to shut down for good in September. Officials with the company that runs it, Exelon, say TMI has not turned a profit in several years.
According to multiple published reports, 3 Mile Island still employs more than 600 people. Nuclear waste would be stored on site here in PA after the plant closes. You can read and watch our stories about 3 Mile Island at WNEP.com. And that does it for